One of the great platitudes which are popular today when we are confronted with acts of violence is to refer to Fyodor Dostoevsky's famous statement from Brothers Karamazov, if there is no God, then everything is permitted. Well, the first problem with this statement is that Dostoevsky, of course, never made it. The first one who used this phrase as allegedly made by Dostoevsky was Jean-Paul Sartre in 1943. But the main point is that this statement is simply wrong. Even a brief look at our predicament today clearly tells us this. It is precisely if there is God that everything is permitted to those who not only believe in God, but who perceive themselves as instruments, direct instruments of the divine will. If you posit or perceive or legitimize yourself as a direct instrument of the divine will, then of course all narrow, petty, moral considerations disappear. How can you even think in such narrow terms when you are a direct instrument of God? This is how so-called religious fundamentalists work, but not only them. Every form of so-called totalitarianism works like that, even if it is presented or if it presents itself as atheist. Let's take Stalinism. Officially, Stalinism was based on atheist Marxist theory. But if we look closely at the subjective experience of a Stalinist political agent, leader, we see that it's not a position of an arrogant master who can do whatever he wants. It's on the contrary, the position of a perfect servant. In the Stalinist universe, there definitely is what in psychoanalytic theory we call the big other. This big other in the Stalinist universe has many names. The best known of them are the necessity of historical progress towards communism, or simply history. History itself is the big other. History as the necessary succession of historical stages. A communist experiences himself as simply an instrument whose function is to actualize a historical necessity. The people, the mythic people, whose instrument the totalitarian leader is, are never simply the actually existing individuals, groups of people and so on. It's some kind of imagined, idealized point of reference which works even when, for example, in rebellions against the communist rule, like in Hungary 56, when the large majority of actually resisting people raises up, is opposed to the regime. They can still say, no, these are just individuals, they are not the true people. When you are accused of, my God, how could you have been doing all these horrible things? You could have said, and this is the standard Stalinist excuse, of course, my heart bleeds for all the poor victims. I am not fully responsible for it, I was only acting on behalf of the big other. As for myself, I like cats, small children, whatever. This is always part of the iconography of a Stalinist leader. Lenin in Stalinism is always presented as someone who likes small children and cats. The implication being, Lenin had to order many killings and so on, but his heart was not there. This was his duty as instrument of historical progress and so on and so on. The way to undermine Stalinism is not simply to make fun of the leader. This can be up to a point even tolerated. It is to undermine this very reference, mythic reference, which legitimizes the Stalinist leader, the people. This is how I read the by far best work of Miloš Forman, his early Czech films. Black Peter, The Loves of a Blonde, and Fireman's Ball, where he mocks precisely the ordinary people in their daily conformism, stupidity, egotistic lust, and so on and so on.
Eva, trošku života to, podívejte se, no, ergot.
It may appear that this is something very arrogant, but no, I think that this is the way to undermine the entire structure of the Stalinist universe. To demonstrate not that leaders are not leaders. They are always ready to say, oh, but we are just ordinary people like you. No, that there is no mythic people which serves as the ultimate legitimization. So what is the big other, this basic element of every ideological edifice? It has two quite contradictory aspects. On the one hand, of course, the big other is the secret order of things, like divine reason, fate, or whatever, which is controlling our destiny. But this is maybe the least interesting aspect of the big other, as the agency which guarantees meaning of what we are doing. Much more interesting is the big other as the order of appearances. Many things which are prohibited are not simply prohibited, but they should not happen for the big other.